Yo, what is up, guys? It is your host, Samurai here, and welcome to the channel. Sorry if you guys end up hearing like the tiredness of my voice. Today has been wild. I don't want to get into it because I don't like stacking my problems onto other people's problems, but let's just say today has been quite a stressful day. Luckily, however, your boy is here with another part 2. What if Naruto had Zeref's powers? To which you guys had actually enjoyed the last part a lot, actually. You guys legit sticked around to the very end of the video, and it really showed it. So I really want to thank you all so much for giving me my support. And to those who love the series so much, don't worry, I will continue posting out parts. But that's besides the point, guys. I understand you guys are not here to hear me blah 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 about the series or anything like that. So besides the fact that I'm asking you guys to go ahead and get comfortable and get everything you need, I believe it's time for us to get started with this what if. So let's begin, shall we?
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with this what if. Hopefully you guys will enjoy, and either way, let's begin. So we now turn our point of view to the start of this what if, all the way back at Konoha. At this, we currently see Tsunade, who was currently sitting down in front of Jiraiya, who had just recently returned back from his mission. I'm telling you right now, from our surveillance team, I'm telling you, we found his location. Jiraiya will be saying to Tsunade, trying to convince her, how Tsunade was looking very, very much, really not 100% sure. At this, Jiraiya had just recently informed Tsunade that due to the fact of his spy network and due to the fact that Jiraiya has been actually using it more often, he had actually been able to use one of them to find one of the bases of Orochimaru. And so far, what the spy network would say is one of the larger ones, which means there's a high possibility that Orochimaru might be there. At this, Tsunade will look at Jiraiya with a look of misguidedness until finally she sighs. Jiraiya, listen, I understand that you really are worried for Minato's son, but you have to understand, it is too much of a gamble just to send our shinobi back to wherever that snake is. To which Tsunade had to admit, although she really sympathized with Jiraiya a lot, after all, she knew that the man lost, well, quite a lot actually, but she just didn't think it was really that good of an idea to send one of their best shinobis, like literally Anbu members and everything, to a base where a psychotic madman is. After all, Orochimaru, he's smart, and being the legendary Sounding, he'll be able to slaughter them easily, no matter if they were Anbu or heck, even if they were Jonin. The only ones who could possibly stand up to Orochimaru would be something like Kakashi, maybe, but even that is not 100% sure. As they were trying to explain this, however, this is when suddenly Team 7 would then arrive. At this, Kakashi would then appear as well as, Sakura and Sasuke, as he then turns to her. Lady Tsunade, I have an announcement. At this, we will now do a transition. At this, the room was completely silent as Tsunade would look at Kakashi in shock. Kakashi, are you 100% sure? At this, he will nod as he'll look at his team to give off their confirmations, to which they would do so. At this, it was like Jiraiya would then get up. Tsunade, this is an opportunity here. If we just caught a glimpse on him, that means there might be a chance. However, as he was about to do so, Tsunade would then turn to him. Don't you understand? He had just attacked them. At this, Jiraiya didn't give a damn. It could be the fact that he's been misguided from the influence of Orochimaru. That snake. At this, Jiraiya was not one to forgive him quite easily. He's not Naruto after all. Well, Naruto like in canon, I mean. So he was not gonna simply just forgive the man for what happened. Due to this, however, this is when suddenly he would then begin to get up and turn to leave. However, Tsunade would then order him to stop. Jiraiya, by order of Hokage, I tell you to calm down. At this, Jiraiya would then stop as he turns to her, as his look would be murderous. At this, Jiraiya would grit his teeth until he finally relaxed. Fine. At this, he goes ahead and calms down, as this is when Tsunade then turns to the rest of Team 7. Well then, although that's quite amazing news, how about the mission of Sand? Did it go well? At this, Kakashi would then give out the report saying that besides the Naruto incident, everything went surprisingly well. At this, hearing this, Tsunade was glad. However, Jiraiya was currently not in a good mood right now, as while he was doing this, all he can think about was Naruto, and exactly, heck, how was he doing? Was he even fine? All that mattered to Jiraiya right now was trying to get back the kid and sort of make up for what happened. This will not turn to Naruto, as he was currently right now back at his home, studying up on all the information he got from Suna, or San. It's an annoyance team from Konoha, Naruto would say. With this, he was very close into actually getting an opportunity to make an allegiance with the Sand Village. However, unfortunately, the team of Konoha ended up showing up, which ended up ruining everything for him. He didn't want to deal with them, and so due to this, he had no choice but to retreat. Well, it doesn't really matter. At this, Naruto already knew that even though that he was upset that Suna, he wasn't able to make the peaceful bonding with Suna, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter to him. After all, if they did attack or show any hostility towards him, he could just wipe them off the map. However, he would like to do things in a less troublesome way, like a Naruto would say it. As Naruto was thinking this, however, he will then begin to just go on and continue on with his research. After all, Suna had very interesting information, so he might as well use what he gotten. As he was reading through everything, finding out about Suna's secrets, we will now turn to Konoha's team. At this, after a while of them just, going around the village, Tsunade would turn to Jiraiya as he was still quite stubborn, not even talking to her or looking at her. At this, she understood how serious this was for Jiraiya. So she decides, alright, Team 7, right before you actually head off, I do have another mission for you. At this, all of them would then turn to Tsunade as she sighs. I'll let you go ahead and explore a certain base that Jiraiya has just uncovered. At this, hearing this, Team 7 was actually surprised, as Jiraiya would look at Tsunade with a look of, of course, gratefulness, as she then turns to them. He begins to explain about the location of the base that they heard, and also about all the intel that they gather upon it. In this timeline, this is where Jiraiya pretty much tells them how they were going to meet up with Sasori, and how all this and that was going to happen. So pretty much this is how Team 7 ends up finding out about it. Now, of course, hearing this, Team 7 were, of course, surprised, as Jiraiya would also say that he would be accompanying them with them. At this, Tsunade would look at Jiraiya surprised, as he would say with such dedication, showing that he wasn't messing around. At this, Tsunade then sighs as she goes ahead and allows them to do so, as with that, Team 7 would then roll out. And thanks to the fact that Kakashi isn't injured, as well as the fact that, Sasuke didn't leave the village. Actually, you know what, never mind. It's only due to the fact that thanks to the fact that Kakashi isn't injured, Yamato isn't coming with them. However, thanks to the fact that Naruto's not there, Sai would actually be accompanying them. Now, I will say this, the interaction between Sai and Team 7 will actually go very oddly similar to how Sai met up with Naruto, as Sai just straight up out of the random completely just attacked Sasuke, as Sasuke was easily able to dodge him and honestly beat him up in a few instances. However, right before he could actually end up landing a fatal blow on Sai, he would then reveal that he was actually an ally of the Hidden Leaf and was sent to test Sasuke by order of the Hokage. Now, of course, Sasuke didn't believe this. However, as Sai would actually end up, showing his information that he's actually is part of Konoha, he unfortunately can't exactly just end him right there, considering the fact that could actually be an offense to Konoha, and he could actually become a rogue ninja due to that. However, when he found out that he's going to actually end up being part of his team, that was a whole different story. But nonetheless, Sai is still part of the team, so unfortunately we're going to have to move on. However, currently unaware to Team 7, Orochimaru's plan that has been waiting for so long was finally in action. Yes, finally. At this, we will now turn our attention to the psychotic madman who'd finally now looking at his perfect vessel. Hashirama cells, the Sharingan, multiple different jutsus he collected over the years, was finally embedded into the perfect vessel. At this, he thought for so long he needed the Sasuke Uchiha, but who would think the very new person that he's been going after would actually be the one to help him. I thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. And with that being said, I'll try making sure that your death will be a painless one. At this, Orochimaru had been more like gathering all his resources, preparing for the moment. After all, his research on the Uchiha, plus all the studies he's been taking with it, has finally all paid off into making the perfect vessel. But now is this time for him to extend his research even further, by going after a very new certain subject, Naruto Uzumaki. A boy who is unreliant on chakra, something that Orochimaru never heard of in his entire life, and just the feeling of that excited him. At this, he would just think about it, a power that he never actually ever seen before, and he actually met the perfect person to actually have it. At this, he had known information on Naruto. After all, he had been around during the time where it was announced to the village that Naruto was the Jinchuriki. And due to this, he already knew the boy was the Nine-Tailed Fox's host. However, he did know that the Nine-Tailed Fox shouldn't be able to grant something like this. After all, if it did, then all the previous Jinchuriki should have had them, and they would have been known throughout history. Which, although all the Jinchurikis of the Nine-Tails have been known, they have never been known for what Naruto was capable of. At this, just the feeling and thinking about the new research he could extend to, especially the fact that, imagine if he even were to harness the power of the Nine-Tails. That would just be something incredible, wouldn't it? So overall, going after Naruto would be everything positive. He had nothing to lose. So as Orochimaru was thinking this with a gleeful look, he would then begin to calm down as he would finally begin to test out the new body of his. And he knew just the way how to do so. At this, he would then turn to Kabuto. He would then arrive as he'd be looking at his... I'm not calling him master, okay? I'm not calling him that. He would look at his... You know, it's kind of actually... although I said that, it's kind of hard to see what else Kabuto really sees Orochimaru's at. I'll say his fake wannabe dad, so... Yeah, I'm just going to say Kabuto will look at his fake wannabe dad in his new body. Okay, yeah, that's still weird. I really don't know. I guess it really is just a master, huh? Okay. Well, Kabuto would look at him and he would be amazed by just the power increase that he saw. Yes, this is truly what Lord Orochimaru is truly capable of. The strongest of the legendary Sanins. Someone who's invincible. As Kabuto was currently thinking about all this, literally gaslighting and, hyping up Orochimaru, he would then suddenly be called out. Kabuto, let's go. We have certain arrangements to meet. At this, Kabuto would nod. This is when suddenly he would then grab Orochimaru by the shoulder as he would then suddenly teleport both of them. So with that being said, we now move on as Team Konoha would eventually end up arriving at the location after a few amounts of traveling. At this, they would arrive at the bridge as they'll be there quietly waiting for Orochimaru. At this, Kakashi would then turn into, none other than... he would just turn into Sasori in his hideous disguise as he begins to walk towards the bridge. Now in canon, this is where we will then see both Kabuto and Orochimaru end up appearing, but in this one, it would just be Kabuto. At this, Kabuto will be looking at Sasori with a serious expression as this one suddenly they'll then begin to actually make the trade that they were planning to do so. As they were doing so and as they make the trade, however, this one suddenly Kabuto will then make a chakra scalpel as he destroys the disguise. As he does so, he will then see as the sky just poofs away, revealing Kakashi, as this one suddenly the rest of Team Seminoles would appear. Except for Naruto, so pretty much same events in canon, only a slight difference. This one suddenly the true difference ends up appearing. Kid, listen up. I'm not here for you. I'm here for Orochimaru. Tell him to give back Naruto. At this, as Jiraiya would say this with a serious expression, however, this one suddenly cackling voice would then be heard. Oh, Jiraiya, old friend, is that truly a perfect way to greet your old ally? At this, Kabuto would look at Jiraiya with a smile on his face. Sorry, Lord Jiraiya, but I believe my master has far surpassed anything you can comprehend. In fact, I'm sorry to say this, but you are no longer worthy of my master's time. At this one suddenly walking right on the bridge, we wouldn't see none other than the snake Sonic himself, the Orochimaru. And as soon as he saw Orochimaru, Sasuke's blood ran cold. How did you do it? At this, Sasuke was legit having a major panic attack as Sakura was actually now talking to him. Sasuke? At this, she'll continue shouting out the boy's name, but he was at this point hyperventilating. At this, Orochimaru, seeing Sasuke's expression, can nothing more but laugh, while both Kakashi and Jiraiya were looking at this man with pure disgust. Orochimaru, Just how far are you willing to go? At this, standing there in his new vessel, you'll see none other than Orochimaru, as right in front of him was not exactly the normal Orochimaru that they had come to know. No, this was something else. At this, standing in front of him, having a semi-demonic vessel, you will then see Orochimaru as the parent of Sasuke Uchiha. Flashback. During the time when Naruto had been helping out Orochimaru with his research, or pretty much just sending him materials really as Orochimaru would give him all the research he had actually asked Naruto for an Uchiha vessel. After all, the Sharingan eyes can only go so far, but he needs the actual Uchiha vessels to go well with the blood. And at this, Naruto, of course, seeing this, would then ask Orochimaru for more information and to give him any more research that he has. At this, Orochimaru agreed to the deal, and so Naruto had actually decided to give him the demonic body of none other than Fugaku Uchiha, aka Sasuke's father. At this, seeing his father right there in front of him, Sasuke was having a major panic attack as his Sharingan eyes was blazing. At this, seeing Sasuke's despair expression, Orochimaru would laugh, thanking Naruto in his head. Naruto truly gave him an excellent gift. As he was flashing off his Sharingan eyes, however, this when suddenly Orochimaru wouldn't speak up. As much as I do enjoy the fatherly reunion between father and son, I have much more important things to do. However, I do like to thank you all for being my test subjects on this. At this when suddenly all their danger senses would then go off, as this one suddenly Orochimaru would then release the attack. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu. At this, ginormous flames would then erupt as it would then shoot off, burning off the entire bridge as a big explosion would then go off as well. At this one suddenly, as the smoke was going around the entire area, all the Team 7 would then jump away, as Orochimaru would be laughing at them. Truly is an amazing vessel, don't you think, little Sasuke? At this, Sasuke was still in shock as he couldn't move. He was frozen in fear, as he would be getting multiple images about how his family had just died right in front of him. And seeing his father there in this twisted way, he can't do nothing more but actually begin to hyperventilate even further. Sasuke! Kakashi, he's not snapping out of it. At this, Kakashi was glaring angrily at Orochimaru, while Jiraiya just looked at him with disgust. You've made me sick. I had about enough of you. Kakashi, flank me on my left. At this, Kakashi would nod. This is when suddenly both Jiraiya and Kakashi would then rush over as they begin to tag team on Orochimaru. At this, Orochimaru had a smile on his face as he'll begin to test out the new vessel he created. Slithering like a snake, he approached both Jiraiya and Kakashi as they then throw a bunch of kicks and barrage. Oh, come on. Has it truly been that long? Have you truly gotten this slow, Jiraiya? And I expected more from you, Kakashi. I guess you really don't live up to the White Fang's legacy. Hearing this, both Kakashi and Jiraiya were ticked off as they continued the battle against none other than Orochimaru. At this, Orochimaru was dodging, weaving, as he would actually end up putting out jabs and hurting Jiraiya and Kakashi. Sorry guys, I'm mixing things up a lot. As he would then suddenly slam both of them with a punch, sending them flying and crashing into a rock. Dang it! At this, seeing that Sasuke was still in a funk, Sakura then decided to step up. She rushed over at Orochimaru with a punch. With a yell of "Cha!" she would then suddenly punch Orochimaru, as she would then look on with a smile on her face. However, this was suddenly Orochimaru's head that she literally just punched through would then suddenly begin to wrap around her as she looks on in shock. At this, she can't let go, as this when Orochimaru would then actually end up devouring her, as she would let out a horrifying scream. Back in reality, you wouldn't see as soon as Sakura had threw a punch at Orochimaru, he had actually avoided it and had put her under a genjutsu at the very last minute. At this, Sakura's scream would then be heard throughout the world as she then laughs. Yes, this is the true power of the Sharingan. As he ends up laughing a little bit, this one suddenly he would then have to dodge a Chidori that was coming right at him. At this, he wouldn't look behind as he wouldn't have a smile on his face. Oh, so your little Uchiha decided to wake up. At this, Sasuke's Sharingan eyes were blazing as he would actually activate the Mangekyo Sharingan. You bastard! I will make you pay! At this, Orochimaru ends up laughing even more, wondering how exactly strong is his vessel against another Uchiha. Well, he's just gonna have to see. At this, Orochimaru laughing in Sasuke's face, using his father's face right in front of him, enraged the lone Uchiha survivor as he then begins to barrage him with multiple sword slash. At this, of course, seeing this, Orochimaru just dodges out of the way. Oh, come on, Sasuke, you can do better than that. At this, Sasuke gets even more angry as he tries using a Shidori, trying to pierce him directly through the heart. However, as he does so, as soon as he was about to actually strike Fugaku, he would then suddenly end up once again getting flashbacks about what his brother did, causing him to momentarily stop. And due to this weakness, Orochimaru would then kick Sasuke in the stomach, sending him flying up in the air. Oh, is that all? So much for the lone Uchiha survivor. You never were to live up to Itachi's legacy with that. Hearing the name of his brother and being ridiculed, Sasuke actually begins to get some flashbacks. At this, he remembered at a young age, he had tried so hard trying to impress his father, but in the end of the day, his father always pretty much made him feel as if he was never be enough. He was never going to be enough. He was never going to be exactly like Itachi. And due to this made Sasuke, of course, be upset, but this also pushed him to strive to be better. However, due to the fact that Orochimaru is currently in control, and due to the fact that he looks exactly like his father, Sasuke can do nothing more but take these words, as he feels like a little kid again, as he could feel the gaze of his father of disappointment. But like I said, this is all happening in Sasuke's head. As just like that, multiple snakes would then shoot out of Orochimaru's hand, as he would then go ahead and grab Sasuke, as the snakes bite into him, as he would then slam Sasuke into the ground. Is that all? So much for the lone Uchiha. However, as he was about to do so, this one suddenly the lightning blade would then be shot out, as it ends up actually piercing Orochimaru by the side of his stomach. I think you have gone on and tortured my student long enough, Orochimaru. At this, Orochimaru would actually end up jumping away as he sees his body now injured. Oh, how very interesting. However, as he was about to go on, this one suddenly he would then feel a ginormous ball of chakra approaching him. The sound of the wind spiraling about, he would then look up to see none other than a ginormous Rasengan. Callie, Rasengan! Shouted Jiraiya as he would then suddenly slam the attack into Orochimaru. At this, Orochimaru not even screaming as the attack would go ahead and then hurt him. At this, the collateral damage from it was so powerful that he legit destroyed more and more of the surrounding area. At this, Jiraiya would then jump off the attack, as nothing left was nothing more than a big crater with a spiraling shape forming of the attack. That should be it. As soon as Jiraiya says this though, this one's suddenly seeing, walking out of the crater, you'll see Orochimaru. Perfectly fine. Oh, what's wrong, Jiraiya? At this, Jiraiya will look at Orochimaru in shock. How? At this, Orochimaru ends up laughing. Cause I can. At this one suddenly the injuries that he had taken would then begin to heal, as this is when suddenly both Jiraiya and Kakashi were now in shock. How? At this, Jiraiya, having been analyzing, having done his research, having done multiple amounts of field missions and everything, he can only guess a few things. However, the one that's most likely, especially when it comes down to Orochimaru, plus on the fact of a certain incident, was none other than the Hashirama cells. He has Hashirama cells. At this, Jiraiya was now honestly beginning to dread this. If Orochimaru made himself this much powerful, then what exactly does he need Naruto for? At this, as Jiraiya tried to think about this, the pieces all begin to fall in line. With the Uchiha body, the Hashirama cells, plus with the ginormous source of chakra. At this, Orochimaru already had large amounts of chakra, but in the end of the day, it was nothing compared to the Nine Tails. At this, thinking about it more and more, Jiraiya felt himself begin to snap as he decided, screw it. At this, as Orochimaru was enjoying the feeling that his body was getting stronger and stronger, he would then begin to actually cough up a little bit. What? At this, as Orochimaru begins to look down, he would then begin to realize something. This was supposed to be like a test run of the body. Orochimaru had spent multiple amounts of time and dedication to go ahead and make this body the perfect vessel. But unfortunately, things are not turning out as glamorous as it is, as he still has not fully been able to connect with this. And due to this, and due to how things are running rampant, he does not have full control over it. It's fine. After all, this is why we run tests and calculations. But still, this vessel is already showing that it truly is worthy. How perfect. As Orochimaru was thinking this one suddenly he would then begin to sense it. At this, he would then have to bring his arm up to actually block an attack. As this one suddenly, as soon as the attack would then hit, his arm would then be blown up as he would be sent flying, crashing to the trees. I won't let you get the nine-tailed fox, Orochimaru. At this, suddenly standing right there, you would then see, going out of the smoke, the silhouette of none other than the Toad Sage Jiraiya, as he had just entered Sage Mode. At this, you would then see both Ma and Pa right beside him, as they were now looking at Jiraiya with a confused expression. Boy, you just brought us out here this quickly. What exactly is it? Is it full of this noise? What's going on here? Did you get me something? As Grandpa was, as Pa was actually, just asking about all this, he would then be suddenly stopped as Jiraiya would have a serious expression on his face. I'm dealing with Orochimaru. At this, already understanding the situation, they would then get serious as well, as they would then turn and look at the direction where the snake sounding is. At this, you would then see Orochimaru then walk out of the forest that was completely damaged at this point, as he would walk out with his arm destroyed, until suddenly he would then be wrapped out by multiple amount of snakes until they finally had regenerated the entire arm. Sage Mode. At this, as soon as saying this, Orochimaru instantly became a little bit bitter. Sage Mode was a power that Orochimaru had actually wanted for a very long time. However, even with this new Uchiha vessel, he didn't feel like he was likely to be able to learn this. However, those are just some doubts in his head. After all, he still has not tested it out yet. Maybe he might be able to learn it with this body. After all, it was supposed to be his perfect vessel after all. At this, just thinking about making Orochimaru excited. However, he decided to test it. Could this vessel end up beating the power of Sage Mode? At this, seeing this right now, Orochimaru would actually laugh at Jiraiya. You old fool, even after so long, you still haven't mastered the power of Sage Mode. But then again, you were always a failure. At this, hearing these words, Jiraiya did not make no outward appearance, no moves or anything. At this, Orochimaru was about to speak up again, only having to dodge, as suddenly a ginormous amount of flames would then try to shooting at him, as well as some earth as well. At this, he would then look behind him to see none other than two Jiraiya clones. As he was about to speak up on it, this one suddenly he would then have to cover his ears, as a ginormous shriek attack from both Ma and Pa would begin to shoot out. Dang it! At this one suddenly he would then use the Sharingan eyes, as he looks directly into Jiraiya's eyes, trying to put him under a genjutsu. That won't work. At this, Orochimaru would then be surprised, as this one suddenly he would then be trapped in a cube-like object. At this, he would then be surprised as he cannot move. It was as if he was frozen in time. How? With the Sharingan eyes, I should be immune to all genjutsu. At this one suddenly the footsteps of Jiraiya the Sannin would then begin to ring out. It was not just some ordinary genjutsu. It's one that's so powerful, infused with the art of senjutsu. Even you cannot escape it with those hideous eyes of yours that do not belong to you. As I said before, Orochimaru, your reign of terror is over. This is the end, old friend. At this, Orochimaru would then be surprised. He would then have to cough up blood. As we now turn to the present, Orochimaru would then be currently in a daze, as he had just been stabbed directly through the chest by a blade that Jiraiya had just taken out. At this, seeing that the snake sounding was now finished off, they would then release the genjutsu, of course, as just like that, Orochimaru's body would then fall limp as he falls down to the ground, as this was supposedly going to be the end for the snake sounding. It's over. At this, seeing that Orochimaru was down, Jiraiya would then suddenly blitz into hand signs as he decides to burn the body away. With the ginormous fireball, he would then burn Orochimaru's body, as they would then look at it with disgust. At this, however, as Jiraiya would then begin to walk away, this one suddenly a hand would then suddenly spring up from the ground as he would then suddenly grab Jiraiya by the neck, lifting him up in the air. You were always an old fool, Jiraiya. So soft, so pathetic, always arrogant, thinking that you could do anything, thinking that you'll be able to finish me off that easily. At this, Jiraiya would then actually try to do something about it as he throws a kick. However, this one suddenly he would then end up getting his neck squeezed a little bit, causing him to cough up blood. No. At this, Orochimaru had already smiled. This was enough of a test. He knew it. This vessel truly was one of the perfect ones. However, it can be better. At this, he didn't like the fact that a genjutsu such as that even worked on him. So due to that, he decided he needed a little bit more testing. But for now, he was smiling with everything he got. So with that being said, Orochimaru would then slam a punch directly into Jiraiya's stomach, sending the Sannin flying. At this, he would then look on with a smirk on his face as he was about to walk off. However, this one suddenly he would then be enveloped by none other than the sounds of both Lightning Blade and Chidori. "I won't let you get away!" shouted both Kakashi and Sasuke. However, as they were about to do something, Orochimaru would then vanish and appear in front of the very broken area of the bridge. "I thank you all for being such valued test subjects. You guys truly have shown me exactly the errors of this body of mine. It's not perfect yet, but it will be. And trust me when it will. Trust me, Konoha won't stand a chance." At this, as Orochimaru would walk off, Sasuke would then rushing towards him again, this time with his katana out. "I'm not letting you get away, you bastard! I swear I'll take you out of this world, Orochimaru!" At this, seeing and hearing this, Orochimaru then lets off a chuckle. "Well, then we'll just have to see, won't we, Sasuke-kun? Until then, say goodbye to your father one last time." As Orochimaru would run his hand through Sasuke's father's face, Sasuke's eyes will then glow a little bit more red. As this one suddenly, as Sasuke was rushing over at Orochimaru, a ginormous purple fist would then be extended as Sasuke would yell out a very painful cry, as it would yell out as a little bit of blood would be falling from his eyes. "Die, you bastard!" At this, just like that, the ginormous Susanoo fist would then approach Orochimaru as he looks at it with surprise. The Susanoo. As he would say this when suddenly the fist would then slam into Orochimaru, actually damaging the man's arm right before he could get away. At this, he would cough up a little bit of blood, but he would look on with a smile on his face, as he would then suddenly end up vanishing, turning into a bunch of snakes. Damn it! At this, Jiraiya, who had just gotten out of the crate and was now rushing over to the area, would look on as you would then see that Sakura had still been unconscious from the genjutsu, while Kakashi had actually been currently holding on to his ribs as he had broken a lot of ribs from just being sent flying by Orochimaru, which the same thing can be said by Jiraiya. However, currently the one in most distress was none other than Sasuke, who was currently right now on the ground slamming his fist over and over again as he was glaring angrily at the area where Orochimaru was. At this, Strahd looked down. They'd failed. At this, we will now turn our point of view to somewhere else. At this, we will then see currently as watching everything far away, you will see none other than a demonic Anbu member. At this, seeing the event that had just occurred, it would then suddenly vanish as it would just go directly towards its owner. At this, currently sitting down in his research study, enjoying all the information he had, you will then see none other than Naruto, who currently right now was just doing his information, like his studying. At this, he would then look at this, or whatever it was, he would then look at his demonic root Anbu member, as this one suddenly he would then begin to transfer him the information. So Orochimaru finally completed his perfect vessel. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. At this, Naruto would continue on with his research, as purple energy begins to flood through out of him. After all, he can have as many enhancements as he wants, but in the end of the day, he is still no match for me. As Naruto would say this with a dark turn in his voice, he would show a very annoyed expression on his face. He had already knew about the Orochimaru's silent interest in his powers, his abilities. However, he already knew that if that snake even dared to even look at him wrong or even try to touch him, Naruto would eradicate his very existence. And it seems as if by helping him out, Orochimaru's arrogance has skyrocketed to the point where he actually thinks he can take him on, even with a few bodily enhancements. But Naruto already knew. If Orochimaru dared even try doing anything to him, he would gladly wipe the Snake Sonics information out of existence, and he would gladly take all the research he has for himself. After all, Orochimaru's usefulness has now finally run its course, and it is now believed it's time for him to put down a very useless pawn as he is. As Naruto would say this, he would instantly close the research study, sealing up the scroll as he would instantly get up, preparing for the inevitable conclusion between him and Orochimaru. What do you guys think is going to happen during the encounter between Orochimaru and Naruto? What do you guys think is going to happen to Sasuke now that he's beginning to see just how twisted the man is? And overall, what do you guys think of the story so far? It is your host, Seiji Samurai here, and your boy is heading out, guys. I am exhausted. I've had to do a lot of stuff today. I legit had to get through a lot of stuff today. And overall, I'm just tired in general. But I am thankful that I was at least able to post a video to you guys, even though it's like a little bit late. But besides that, guys, it is your host, Seiji Samurai here, and I'm thankful for all of you. But besides that, guys, it's your boy, and he's out. Hope you have a lovely night. Okay, bye.